Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is one of the interview question asked in Shell company. So in this video, I'm trying to cover two questions asked in Shell. So my first question is, input is like this. So we have multiple columns in data below, like column 1, column 2, column 3, like how to add new column by using this column 3 into 2 in existing data set, and output should like this: column 1, column 2, column 3, and new column. So for solving this, what I'm doing, I'm creating one sample data frame in data. So since my input has three columns, so I'm creating three columns values, and I given three column names like column 1, column 2, column 3. By using spark.create data frame, I'm creating sample data frame. Now I have three columns: column 1, column 2, column 3. So now what they want to requirement is, they want to add new column. That is, column name is new column, new underscore column. And in that column, they want to fill records with column 3. Whatever values in column 3 is multiplied with 2. So here what I'm doing is, I'm using on top of this data frame, I'm using with column, and my column name should be like new underscore column, and my column should fill with values of column 3, that is these values multiplied with 2. So I given call of 3 into 2. So that means if you see 3 here, and if you multiply with 2, 6. For 6 into 2, 12. 9 into 2, 18. So this is the requirement they asked. Now we'll go for second question. So we have column as below order. That means column names are item underscore ID, C1, C2. And these values are 1. And here we have list of ABC, and D is there. And the requirement is how to separate C1. That means this column, we have list of elements. So this column as individual as below. So that means item underscore ID, C1, C2, next C3, C4. So here uh, two columns added. So that means whatever list we have, no, ABC, so that we need to split into columns, individual columns. That means these three columns newly, we need to split it from C1. From C1, we need to split it C1, C2, C3, and whatever C2 is there, no, C2D, so they change to C4, and output should be D. So for this, what I'm doing, first I'm creating sample data frame with by using this data. So my data is 1, and this list of elements and D. And my columns are item underscore D, C1, C2. So by using Spark dot create data frame, I'm creating my data frame. So this is my input data frame. I have three columns, and it is exactly matching as per my question. So on top of this, what I'm doing, first I'm importing functions from SQL.functions. I'm importing split, call, explode, max, and size. So here what I'm doing, first I'm trying to split the C1 column into individual columns. If I take a screenshot here, so this C1 column, this has list of elements, no? So first I want to convert this one into columns. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm using with column function, and I'm giving column name as C1 underscore split underscore 0. So that means first value, no, this first value I am splitting here. So C1 C1 underscore split underscore 0 from data frame dot C1. That means from this data frame dot C1. That means this column, from this column, and I'm giving index 0. So that means from this C1, index 0 is, what is that? A. So this one I want in one column. And next, C1 underscore split underscore 1. So this is one more column. So here df underscore q dot C1. So that means this one index is 1. So that means this one B. So this value I want in separate column. So similar way, C1 of 2. That means this C I want in separate column. So first now I splitted this list of elements into individual columns. Next, what I'm doing, if you observe our question, see this C1 column is splitted into C1, C2, C3. But if you see this one now, C2, it has value D. But if you observe here, this column name is renamed to C4, but value is same. So for this, what I'm doing, first I'm renaming this one, this column. I'm using with column renamed. I'm changing this column name from C2 to C4. Then what I'm doing, I'm dropping my C1. That means this whole thing I'm dropping because because I converted already. So by using these three with column functions, I split it into individual columns. So now this one I don't require. So I dropped this one. Next, what I'm doing, I'm renaming all these three columns. Whatever I created new columns, no? So that I'm renaming C1 underscore split underscore 0 to C1, and this one to C2, and this one to C3. So if you see finally our input, see C1, C2, C3, and this one C4. So now our output is exactly matching. So why I'm doing here like this is, see first I'm giving some random column name because they changed here column name C2 to C4. But whenever I split this list of elements to C1, C2, C3, since already column C2 is there, it won't accept, it will throw error. So that's why this one I renamed. Okay, so first what I did, instead of giving C1, C2, C3, I given some other names. Okay, like C1 underscore split underscore 0. So initially I given like that. So that means instead of C1, I have C1 underscore split underscore 0, C1 underscore split underscore 1, C1 underscore split underscore 2. So later I renamed this C2 to C4. Okay, so later I renamed this one to C1, C2, C3 to avoid the conflict error of column name. And I have one more question. Like, so here we have single row. They given input as single row, but in this question we have 4 rows. Okay, so and I have 3 columns. So my sample data set is like this. I have item underscore ID, and I have value column and index. If you see value column, I have list of elements, all list of elements. So now how to split these array values into separate columns? If you see here, in here we have 3 list of elements. So that means from this I want to generate, and if you see here max, no, so here 3 is there, here 3, here 2, here 1. So different values are there. So we'll consider maximum value from this. So maximum value is 3, 3 elements. So that means from this value column we are generating 3 new columns. Okay, so that is this one, split array values into separate columns. So what I'm doing, df dot select item underscore id. If I take screenshot this one, see here from this, I am selecting directly this one, item underscore id. From this value, I am generating 3 new columns. That is value underscore 0, value of 1, value of 2, and index is same as it is. So for that, what I'm doing, select these 2 columns I'm selecting directly, and value column I'm converting to 3 columns. How I'm converting, df underscore q41, that is our main data frame, this one, dot value. If you see here in this array, we have 3 indexes, 0, 1, and 2. So value of 0 means this one. This A will convert to this column here, this one. And if you go for 1, index 1, B, index 2, C. So that means here B, C. So similar way, if you go for second list, second row, we have G, null, and C. So first index is G, second is null, third is C, G, null, C. And if you go for third one, we have 2, 0, and 1. We have M, comma, C, M and C. So M, C, since we don't have third column, it will print as null. Similarly, if you go for fourth one, we have 1 element, that is N. So it will print here. So remaining 2, it will print as null. Okay, so this is one method for splitting this list of elements. You can say list of element, or you can say array of elements. Okay, so this is one method by using index method. Second one is, see here, I given index, no, 0, 1, 2. Since we have only 3 elements here, 3 array of elements, so we given manually here 0, 1, 2. Assume that we have more columns. So if you have more columns, it's very difficult to give like this manually. So I wanted to do like dynamic way. So for that, what we had to do is first determine the size of each array, because as I told initial, first we need to pick from this column what is the which record has maximum number of elements in the array. So for finding that, I'm using df.select. So item ID, value, and I'm finding here size of value. So item ID, value, directly selecting item ID, value, and size of value. So that means array size, it will print here. So how many elements are there? 3. Here 3. Here 2. Here 1. So now it given size of array. Okay. So now what we have to do is, in this, from this, we need to find maximum size. Among these all arrays, we need to find the maximum value. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm using aggregate function, df.aggregate. From that, I'm using max of call of this array. So from this column, I'm picking maximum value, and I given alias name. And since I need to pick element, I given collect 0, 0. Because if you use only up to here, it will be in data frame format. If you want to pick only this element, we have to use this collect of 0, 0. Okay, so now we picked maximum size of array, that is 3. Next, what I'm doing is I'm creating UDF here. So def function, and I'm giving function name, and I mentioned here 2 parameters, df and maximum elements. So what I'm doing is for I in range, maximum elements, and df equal to df dot with column, and this new column name I'm giving as new underscore call, and I value it has to take, and df dot value of I. So that means if I try to call this function here, this array split into calls, and what is my df is df underscore q41, that is this one here, this is this one. So from this is the our main data frame. So that is data frame, and maximum value we already generated here, maximum value is 3. Okay, so it will take this data frame and this df maximum value is 3. What it does is it will go to this function. Since maximum value, that is this one, maximum value means maximum elements, that is 3. So for I in range 3, so that means total 3 3 times it will iterate 0, 1 and 2. So first iteration it will go df equal to df dot with column. So here what is df? That is this one, df underscore q41, our sample data frame. And I'm using with column, and new underscore call underscore I. I means 1, 0 here. Okay, so our column name will be, first column name will be new underscore call underscore 0, that is this one. And what it has to do in this column, what it has to print, df dot value of I. Df dot value means this column, from this column I. So I means what is I now? 0. So value of 0. That means from this, what is the 0 index? A. That it prints here. Next, while iterating second time, what it has, it will, column name will change like new underscore call underscore 2. That is, sorry, 1. First we finished 0, no? Now it is 1. So now df dot value of 1. So 1 means from here, 1 is B. That B is printing here. In third iteration, df dot value of 2. That means this one, C. It printing here. So for each and every row, it will print like this. G here, G null C. G null C. Here MC. MC, third one we don't have, so it printing null. So here only N is there, N, and remaining 2 it printing as null. Okay, so like this, we can create a dynamic way, calculating maximum size of array, and on top of that creating one UDF function and applying on this data frame. So in this video, so total we covered 3 questions about shell interview questions. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.